The reason why I wanted you to say loud was because you are creating the sound frequency of Om. And the studies have been done in Stanford and Harvard and so many other universities, in Banaras Hindu University, India, and also in IITs in India. The measurements of Om and the effect of Om on our system, the body and brain, has been recorded and it is documented. The chant of Om sufficiently allows your hypothalamus pituitary glands to release dopamine and also serotonin and also melatonin. Aren't those people little fool who buy these drugs when you can produce it yourself? Where the prices are rising high and money is short, and if your mind is not behaving well, and if you have to buy the drugs from your pocket, it's going to be very expensive, very difficult. And that is one of the reasons that sometimes then people opt to cut their life because they cannot survive, they don't have that money. They can't take the bread, butter money of their children onto buying their drugs, the meds which they needed. So this pushes them towards suicide sometimes. The science of the sound says that when you listen, even to a classical music, but with closed eyes, but with stilled body posture, even then the dopamine will get released, but it will be of a very smaller proportion. Our masters, the great sages, they knew the beauty of this. That is why they used the mantras to bring power, Shakti, energy, peace to ourselves. By the usage of those certain mantra. What is mantra? What is mantra? If I go into the body of the mantra, then it is just a sound wave. And this sound wave creates an energy, because sound in itself is energy. And when you hear the sound, it is like receiving that energy produced by the vibrations traveling through the air as sound waves. So the sound waves need the air to move. And when we listen to this sound, then this sound can have a good or a bad effect also. Like if some plane whizzes by right above your head. Well, not that low, it is still in the sky. Then round about some 90 decibel, that's how the sound is measured. That's there. And if there is an air raid happening, it's going to be 120 decibel. And those who go to the rock shows, they are really hurting their ears because the sound is so loud that it not only hits their eardrum, it can also affect the functioning of the brain, and it has been observed that people go crazy, and in certain music concerts, people jumped and killed themselves. You know the headbangers? Have you seen those headbangers? Were you an headbanger? When the hard rock is being played, the drums are being played and those electric guitars are being played, that is creating so much loud sounds, and those jarring sounds will produce cortisol in their system. That is what we call the stress hormone. Like now, when I am sitting here and talking to you, it's in between 50 to 60 decibels of sound. If you are in a, say, library, it would be around about 30 decibels of sound. So the sound has its own mechanism and sound has its own effects. And let me repeat again, sound is an energy. And energy never dies. So if some house or temple or office is having too many abusive words being spoken, too many angry words being spoken, then this place is going to be, as per spirituality, a polluted space. When you go to a temple, when you go to any sacred place, the peace which you feel over there is because of those sound energies which were released when the mantras were done, bhajans were sung, shabads were recited, parts were done. So nobody uses a jarring sound when they are doing any mantra. They're always going to be in a very, very calm tones. Now when you say Om, usually it is just Om, 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 Om. But you are forgetting one thing, every sound creates a vibration, because sound in itself is a vibration. Now your ribcage bones are hollow. So when you chant Om, the bones are vibrating. But to feel that, I asked you to place your hands onto your chest. Did you feel it there? Big time? Your mouth is hollow inside. When you place your hand on your cheeks, you feel, yes? Well, head as such is not hollow. It has brain, I hope. You have some brain, but yet when you do the Om, how many of could feel this vibration over here? Right. Okay, how many of you could feel it right here when you were doing with the fingertip? Good. So many people kept their finger like this. Well, no, it has to be like this, little tilted over here, no? Like this, a little tilt. And it is such a powerful point. I give you another tip today, and that is, if you practice chanting of Om, keeping the focus at Bhru Madhya, the mid-eyebrow, then in a period of regular, I'm saying, not doing one day and then missing another 4 days, doing it regular for say 6 months to a year, your intuitive power will be so strong that you'll begin to feel what is going to happen. Your energies will be so strong that whatever is going to happen will be felt by you. Your power of order, this is called Agya Chakra. It's not Agya Chakra exactly, but this is area of the Agya Chakra. Agya Chakra is deep inside, onto the top of where the spine ends, the medulla oblongata. It's right there, not here, but it is area of the Agya. Agya means command. Agya is to give a command. Now you give a command and nobody listens. But when a yogi commands, even nature listens. So if you do this practice regularly for 45 minutes every day, this area will get so activated that you too will begin to have the power to give a command. And it's not controlling others, but it is more to control the emotions and the stupidities of your own mind. For example, you are not supposed to eat spices in the night because you have acidity, but you are liking the Chinese food so much and you just want to jump and eat the whole food. And there you use the power of command and you say no. And your mind will stop slurping onto the food right away. I give you one example. Sometimes it is not your power or energy, it is energy of the master. And you don't know. Master makes you do those things which you never wanted to do. Say yes or no. You wouldn't have done all that, but if you are doing something good and meditative and spiritual and nice and holy, know it. If some else's power is going into you and making you do the work. You know, if somebody gets electrocuted and another person touches the person, what happens? The electricity gets passed, the person becomes a channel. So he or she might be not feeling the shock and the other person will be. This brings me to the point why it is important in our Indian tradition to do pranam to a Sadguru, to do a pranam to Gurudev, and if possible, if Master allows then, but even if you are unable to touch, but still when you bring your head to the Master's feet, and if a Master is a Master, then the Master is going to pass his or her energies to you even without your asking, and that is the true blessings which comes from a Guru. You can do all types of meditations at home. You can do all types of meditations by learning on the internet, but you won't find that spiritual giant head energy which only a Guru can give, if a Guru is a Guru. So that's why we have this tradition that when we go to a Master, we do a full-time bow. Our head is on the floor, on the ground. You know what? If you are not wearing a rubber chappal or a sandal, and there is an electricity flowing in the ground, you will get electrocuted. So we use some kind of a bad conductor. If you are wearing a rubber chappal, then you won't get a shock. And if you are not wearing, you will get a shock. Now, this brings to another reason why we remove our shoes when we meet a Master or when we go to a temple. Because we need the energy and we want to expose ourselves to that energy. Right? So from where is this power of a Guru working? Agya Chakra. And so much leakage is happening through the fingertips. And so much leakage is happening through the toes. Now the whole body weight is on the feet. And the feet is on the ground. And disciple's head is also on the ground. The probability of receiving the energy is going to be great. But if you go and like a stupid fool touch Guru's knees, nothing is going to come to you. Because one, you are breaking the tradition. Two, scientifically you are not bringing to that zone from where the energy can be passed on. Although if a Master wishes, then the energy can be given through eyes, through Master's touch, through Master's word, or through Master's just a simple glance. Raman Maharishi said this. So that brings to another point. Why it is important to meet a living master. And a dead master cannot do this thing. And that is, only a living master can pass on this energy to you. Not a dead one. So people going to the graves of Sufi masters, they won't get anything. They won't receive anything over there. But if that master was a master, then for a certain time, when the prana leaves the physical body, even then there is a big explosion of the energy which occurs at that point. So that space too would be hollowed. So it is not the grave which is having something into it, it's just bones or a skeleton in there, but the space in this whole area where the master breathes his or her last, even that place becomes vibrant. See, science doesn't have such equipment or apparatus to record this or measure this. Still, they don't have it. So coming back to the point, focusing on to your Bhru Madhya, sitting erect, doing your breath properly and then doing the chant properly, that will help you not only to have a great concentration, great vibrations in your body. Now let me give you another sign of that the vibrations are there. It can come in form of movement, it can come in form of light, it can come in form of a great rush of joy occurring in the system. Physically speaking, it can be like an orgasmic experience. And this orgasm is not happening at the physical level. This is happening at the sukshma sarira, at the subtle body level. That is where your all the energy centers and chakras are. So it's so exploding. Like Swami Vivekananda at one time was so much filled with the energy, and on his wish and will, once he passed it on to a simple villager who used to come and do some work in the temple, just out of play. The Swamis have their own play. So he did that. But Ramakrishna Paramahansa, his guru, said, no, you cannot do that. Because the person who is not ready for it, it can harm that person, or otherwise you are just wasting your energy. Don't do that. The intensity of the sound is not just how much you hear through your ear, but the effects are more onto level of your brain and the chemistry of the body and what your mind is going to experience.